Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Football United TV. This is the Football Politics Show. I am joined by Talk MU, and we got three great topics today. Smash the like, share, subscribe, and let's get this intro rolling. Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Football United TV and the Football Politics Show. I'm joined by Talk MU once again. How you doing, mate?
Cold.
But it is real windy out there, isn't it? Still, mate. I mean, what's it like up there? We're on different sides of the island, mate. So
Yeah, it's cold, windy, rainy, drizzly, grey. Yeah, usual.
standard English weather, then.
Yep, very standard.
Hopefully, spring rolls on pretty soon. We're not too far away, mate.
Actually, Actually, talking about if you brought food up there, let's have a look. Let me. Spring rolls. I've not had spring rolls for ages, bro, and I love spring rolls, especially like where there's loads of bean sprouts and that, and then the char siu, the pork spring rolls. Oh, mate.
What do you dip your spring rolls in, Talk?
Either a bit of dark soy sauce or Thai sweet chili sauce, one of the two. Nice. But do you know what? I remember once I went to the takeaway, and I've been going there for a long time. And anyway, I went there, and it was somebody new. I thought, oh, hey, I don't recognise you. So I thought, right, I'm not going to start the usual jibber jabber. You know what I mean? So I put my order in, and I said extra soy sauce. And she said, no. I went, sorry? I said, no, yeah, please, extra soy sauce when you're frying the rice. Please, extra soy sauce, dark. And she's saying, no extra soy sauce. And I'm going, I'm like, what? I'm like, no, I want extra soy sauce, please. And she's like, she wouldn't have none of it. Honestly, she would not have it. She would say, no, but it's not good for you. It'll make your mouth dry, and you'll need to drink loads. And I'm like, yeah, but I don't mind, love, because I'm going to get like a couple of cans of Coke for afterwards, please. And in the end, I had to go into the back to get somebody who recognised me to come out of the back. As soon as they popped their head out of the back, I just went like that with my thumb, and they went, yeah, no problem. Then I could hear it in the back. Obviously, I don't speak Mandarin, if it was Mandarin, but there was a debate going on in the back, and I think the lady, whoever it was taking it. She took it into the back, and it must have started arguing with the chefs in the back.
Right, yeah.
Saying, why? No, don't give him extra soy sauce because it's not good for him. And I'm like, what? All I've asked for is extra soy sauce, man. It was funny.
I mean, like, lots of things in the Chinese that you're eating anyway with the soy or without the soy sauce isn't great for you. So what's it matter?
No.
Like, just if you know what you're doing, you know what you're doing. Anybody at Talks local Chinese, please remember extra soy sauce.
Yeah, please.
So let's crack on then. Talking about three topics. We are going to start off with this Foden incident and the fact that he was abused by people. It was after the Khan versus Brook fight in the Manchester Arena. You saw the footage of it. It's been pushed around on social media. What do you make of this, mate? Is this quite worrying, the fact that people now feel that they can just walk up to people that are in the spotlight or in the media light for whatever reasons, whether it's being a sportsman or being a politician or bloody blah, an actor or whatever? Do you think it's getting out of hand? And the fact that it looked like he didn't have many people around him to sort of sort the situation. I know his mother was there and she got smashed in the face, didn't she, by someone? And I mean, that's horrific to see anybody getting hit, let alone a woman, you know, from a guy who looked as big as he did. But do you think it's sort of out of hand, mate, this at the moment, this sort of stuff that's going on?
Yeah, I mean, that's, you know, you don't, under no circumstances do you lay your hand on anybody, apart from if he, you know, I mean, for me personally, if I have to defend myself from another human being, a man, especially a man, you know what, I'm not gonna not hit back. But one thing I would never, and I have never done, is lay my hands on a woman. Never do you lay your hands on a woman, even if she's kicking 10 bells out of you. You just roll up on the floor, curl up, let her take out her aggression on you, and then, you know, then you talk about it. And let me tell you, I've been with my missus for, well, I can't count how many years it is, but since 1997. On 2 occasions, we've had a disagreement. and to be fair, yeah, I was being a dick. She's hit me, right? And all I did was I cried, mate. I plumped myself down on the couch and just cried. Obviously, she started crying because she felt bad. But you know what? I would probably say, yeah, I deserve to get a slap because I was being a dick, you know. But did I ever raise my hands? Pfft, no chance. Never in a million years would I do that. So that first thing, this guy, whoever he is, I hope he gets everything that's fucking coming to him. Sorry, swearing. It makes me angry. If he gets everything that's coming to him, right, he should be locked up. You know what I mean? Locked up. You can't assault women. You don't assault anybody. Like I said, when it's it's uncalled for and they didn't start any kind of aggression or anything like that. So it's nonsense. You know what I mean? But in terms of the, go on.
Sorry, carry on. No, carry on, mate. I'll come in after you.
In terms of the, Phil has gone out there to enjoy a boxing match with his. I don't know what other parts of his family were there, but you know what? Listen, you know what people are like. Some people are just totally stupid. They don't represent, the rest of society with their actions. They're just idiots. They're absolute clowns. They see a moment, especially now with social media. They see a moment. Oh, I might better get myself, 2 minutes of being trending on one of the platforms or whatever. It's pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. Immature behaviour. Secondly, I think, look, when you're as high profile a person as Phil Foden, you know what, you have to be a little bit wise, and I'm sure he will have learned from this, and he will now, reconsider if he does. I mean, listen, these people, famous people, loads of money and all the blah, they should be able to live a normal life just like us. They should be able to just go to the supermarket, and then people, so what, you're going to get people go, oh, wow, look, can I take a picture of you, blah, blah. Like, yeah, cool, but, people need to, like I said, it's more down to the individuals who are, hurtling the abuse, really. I think, but, it's, yeah.
Yeah, would you sort of just to throw in this, mate? Do you think the fact that it is like mainly to do with jealousy, the fact they got a lot more money, that they are in the limelight, that people like try and be the big man and be like, look, I can step up to someone who's famous and rich and blah blah, and they make this incident happen, and also talk as well. I mean, do you not think that maybe the players should have a bit more security around them? I know you hear players coming out recently, even old school players in the mid-90s, saying that they would always have at least 1 or 2 people out, because unfortunately, mate, no matter where you go in the world, you're going to get this no matter where you go. There's always going to be idiots about that try and cause problems.
Yeah, because let's have it right. We can't rely on our legal systems. Our legal systems are all to cock. If I go out and break somebody's car, I'm going to get slapped up at big time. Fines, this, that, and the other. You go out and you hurt somebody, or say something about somebody, as we know, you have a jibe at somebody in any kind of like isms, whatever you want to, all the kind of connotations to that. What happens? Fuck all. So they care more about people's possessions more than they care about people in our law. So yeah, in light of that, you have to think to yourself, oh, look, I need to make, unfortunately, I've got to take some precautions here when I'm going out. You know what I mean? So, especially when you're I mean, a footballer like Phil Foden being on playing for Man City, you go out, he's going to see some Man City fans who are going to be like, "Oh, it's God," they're going to be on their knees praying, and then you're going to get some knobhead United fans who are going to go, "Oh, it's Phil Foden plays for City. You're fucking this, you're fucking that, blah blah."
Yeah.
Swearage, but and at the end of the day, would I do that? No way would I do that. If I went to the Trafford Centre, and I seen Phil Foden or Raheem Sterling or any of the City players or Pep Guardiola or whatever, would I start being a dick and going, you're blah, you're this, you're that, and the other? You know what I mean? No, I'd be like, wow.
I'd hope to think not. Yeah, I'd hope to think not. I don't think you would, bro.
You know me better than that, bro.
Yeah.
I'd be like, well,
I can vouch.
I'd be like, whoa, wow. I wouldn't go and ask for a selfie, obviously, because it's Man City. But I wouldn't.
You might ask for a selfie, but you'll stand the reverse way, like they do in the crowd at Man City. What's it called?
What's it called? Not the Pavlov. What's that? The Poznan.
Poznan. Yeah, you just do that in the photo, so you can't. It's you, but you can't see your face. Right.
Yeah, but you know what? I mean, like I say, it's just some people are just stupid, and it's a shame that the famous people do have to sort of think like that. Like they can't just. It must. Do you know what? Let's have it right. Before the thing here is as well is it's not like let's think about somebody who's born into fame, right, from a young age. They get used to it. You get used to it. I've got used to it in my fame from being a kid. You know what I mean? That's why I can't show my face, because as soon as I put my camera on, everyone's going to go, "I knew it's him. I knew it was him." He's right. Anyway, right. But the people who haven't, who've lived a normal life, like Phil Foden has, lived a normal life, very normal life, mum and dad going out to work, going home, do your homework, have your tea, you might get a really nice, the thing that you wanted for Christmas if you've saved up enough, your parents have saved up and all the blah blahs. But now all of a sudden, he's now on the opposite side of it. He's mega rich and, everything else. And, it's just sad. It's really sad, really. Like they can't just, live that same kind of sort of life in terms of doing normal things.
Yeah, it is. And look, I mean, I'm pretty sure they'll get that all sorted out. And I'm pretty sure that people at City will, call him in and just say, look, next time you go out, just try try and be a bit more careful and maybe get some security just in case, because people can just literally walk up to players these days in the streets and do something horrific without even kicking off a fight. So I think just for their sake, with the money you've got, it wouldn't cost too much. It'd be a drop in the ocean out of your fortunes you get from your clubs to just maybe hire some security just to keep things straight. Because sometimes you can get wound up so much, like Danny Murphy said, is you get into a situation where you can't get out of it. You're literally now in it, and you what do you do from there? You need a head like that knows how to deal with situations like this.
Yeah, most definitely. And I think, like, for me, just as an example, what I like, we know the footballers, they'll go out regularly to eat, at nice places. Like for me, for example, if I knew I had a restaurant, say in Manchester, and a footballer just turned up out of the blue, you'd be like, whoa, wow, great, but then you'd definitely be saying to your staff, right, well, listen, keep you, look after them. If people start mithering, have a word. But then if you then rung up again to make another booking, I would then be onto a security firm saying, can you send me a couple of guys? I just need a couple of guys just to, be part of the crew, be part of the staff, just to float about a bit in case there's any silliness. They can quickly get on top of it and deal with it. You have to, at the end of the day, they're bringing in, you good custom. And if I remember, what was that restaurant now? There's a restaurant where loads of like famous people used to go, and I think they did a similar thing there, where just to stop, because otherwise, if you go there, you just allow people to just mither the hell out of people. They can't enjoy. They can't go out and do what they want to do, which is go and enjoy a meal with their family. You know what I mean? So,
I'll tell you a little story actually, which is kind of onto that. I was in LA and we were out like having a few drinks. Went to this really what you can only describe as a dive bar. It was like in between Venice and Santa Monica. Terrible bar. Like you'd walk in and you'd probably go like, maybe have one quick one, and then we'll go to somewhere where it's a bit more bumping. So we got a drink. We were just like, oh, we need to get out of here. Then steps in Cuba Gooding Jr. I don't know if you know him.
Yeah.
Right. So I went up to him. We chatted. I sat there at the bar with him for about an hour or so. We were buying pints for each other. I bought him a Stella. He'd never had a Stella from a draft. So I bought him drinks. We were chatting. We were talking about Lily Allen because he'd been on like a chat show with her like recently in the UK, and I was just talking about how I thought he fancied her. It's weird, man. Do you know what I mean? Like he didn't need minders around him that night. He obviously wanted to go to somewhere quiet where it wouldn't be any trouble. And then there was me, like, you know, let me buy you a beer, bro. And he was like, I'll buy you one back if you buy me one. It's like, cool. So, like, I guess people that are in the spotlight sometimes just kind of don't want to be surrounded by entourages, and they want to feel normal. So I do understand that.
Of course. And that's where, you know, you have to, like, that's where, as the owner of the establishment where somebody like that does arrive, you have to be mindful of that and go, hold on a minute. Right now, I've got a bit of responsibility here. You know what I mean? It's like, so that's where I can say for me, if I was a proprietor of such an establishment, I would then make sure, you know, that, yeah, keeping an eye on this. I'm going to make sure that, you know, if people start miring too much, you're going to have a word and say, oh, look, listen, just, he's come for a quiet drink. So just sit, have a drink. If he wants to have a chat, you know, he'll come and chat to you. You know what I mean? You go over, you know, say hello from a distance and say, oh, I love your work, blah, blah. But that's about it. Don't start, you know, getting, especially when, I'll tell you what, I can't stand, never have, when people invade your personal space, man. I can't hack it. No way, man. Not having none of that.
Yeah, kills you. Yeah, no, especially for a famous person as well, right? Who gets it every 2 minutes. Like when you see Ronaldo walking around somewhere, and he just literally in Portugal, especially when he's there, like every second. Can I? I've only come out for a quick coffee. It takes him about 2 hours just to get that and go back home.
Yeah.
Let's rock on then to the next one, mate. The head injury situation, the issue that they've got at the moment, because obviously they've tried to minimize players that get knocks, haven't they? They really kind of want them to go off and be checked. But what happened, I think, between Leeds and United was Koch, I believe, the Leeds player. He'd gone down once, hasn't he? He had blood all over the show. They put the head bandage around his head. But they had to make a substitution. They had to make a decision very quickly. And it's a bit too quick, isn't it? If you've got a head injury and you've seen what's happened to players recently, like Eriksen and nearly Sergio Aguero. Okay, that wasn't his head, but you know, precautions. You've got to take precautions when it is a head injury, right? And this probably isn't right to make them do this decision very quickly. And I'm hearing as well talk that they want to try and allow teams to put a sub on while they make that decision, and if they want him back on, they can swap it over again. Have you heard about that?
Yeah, it's a strange thing, because I mean, for me, from my point of view, I just think, look, if there's an incident on the pitch and you know, and there's a clash of heads, especially, or a foot to a head or a knee, especially if there's blood drawn, or if the player goes down initially and is a little bit, you know, kind of affected by it, you know, where they're on the floor, that's it, you're off. Get him off. This is where the FA need to set these rules and set the decision away from the clubs. You know what I mean? They've got to take the decision away from the clubs, because, as we know, clubs, when it comes to chasing safety in the Premier League or top 4 places or a trophy, will they always make the right decision? No. Are they sometimes blinded by the desire to win and get the reward? Yes, of course they are. So from that point of view, for me, I just think the FA need to, like you just said, the option there is to bring in a substitute. So one off, so somebody gets a bang, they go off, somebody new comes in. But then 2 minutes later, But how can? Well, this is the problem, you see, Matt. Without going for a scan or
Don't know.
whatever,
Yeah.
you can't, because for concussion. I was going to say percussion again. Concussion can take a little while to actually come in, to affect you properly. If you've had a really bad bang. So for me, I just think, like I say, if blood's drawn, I mean, look, we see it all the time. Two blokes go up for a header, and then boom, there's a bit of a bumping of heads. They sort of go down, but then sort of get back up, rubbing their head. How many times have we seen that? Do you know what I mean? You're rubbing your head, and you're like, oh, damn, that's like if you bang your head on the, I'll tell you what I do all the time in the kitchen. You open a top cupboard, a door, to look for something, and you go, wait a minute, oh no, I think it's down here in this bottom one. Then you bend down, open up the bottom door, and then exactly. And then you're walking down the house, rubbing your head, going, beep, beep, beep. But it's, you haven't got concussion. So I think it's the initial effect of the collision should sort of give you the answer as to what they should do, which is, like I said, if there's blood or they stay on the floor for a few seconds or even a minute or so, get them off. Don't just, that's it. That will stop any interruptions to the game. Just make the change.
I guess it's a very, very good idea, but I guess the only point there, like you said, I think as well, that they got to take it over from the actual clubs and the team doctors. So how do they do that? How do they implement that? Do they have a match doctor who makes the decision on whether players are actually not able to continue in the game? Or
that's the thing here. It's a universal thing. We're human beings. We're made of flesh. We're made of skin and bone, right? If you're banged on the head and it causes you to either bleed, the force that is needed to cause your head to split is enough to give you some form of concussion.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying, isn't it?
Yeah.
Hasn't they've allowed him to come back on?
But they shouldn't. Well, yeah, exactly. That's where it should have. That's where the decision should have been taken away from Leeds.
But that's what I'm saying. Who's? I mean, I would say a team, a match doctor, someone who's assigned to each match, like they are referees, who can step in and go, I'm not happy with this, and you need to have both of us agree that that's okay. And it's if one of us don't agree, then that's it. So because otherwise the team doctor go, I'll do what I can, and the coach goes, no, he says he's all right. Let him on. And they'll go, yeah, okay. Then I'll have to do what the manager tells me to do, because I'm just the fitness guy on the bench here. The physio.
I mean, that is an option, and probably a sensible option. Whereas you got to have the two people, agree. But again, it's about how much time does it take, and what's the effect on. I see, because all I'm thinking here is why prolong the inevitable? Because usually, as we see with head injuries, they come back on, they run around for a bit, and then they go, oh no, I don't feel right, and you go, oh, okay. So firstly, during that time of them having the head injury and then going back on, they're not 100%. Mm-hmm. Then secondly, you've got to be stopped again. There's got to be a change, and then somebody's new coming into the team. And then on the other hand of what we were saying before about, when he goes off, you bring somebody new in, but then after 5 to 10 minutes, they go, oh, actually, no, he's all right now. Boom, and then he comes back on. That's not good for you as a team either. Because
what happens if what happens if the sub comes on, scores a goal?
Well, yeah. There's all kinds of the permutations with this are endless. But for me, like I said, I just think if there's blood, if blood is drawn, and in that moment it causes you to go down, and you're either on your front or on your back for even if it's 30 seconds or whatever, and then you get up and they start doing the old follow me finger. No, that's the moment where you go, look, it's quite obviously a serious bang to the napper. He's off. End of. We got to that as well. And that is the end of the head injury situation. If there is blood drawn, he should be off the field of play. Completely agree. So we'll roll on to the next one then, mate. After the comments, this is Lucas Life. Big up to you, mate. Solo, the Man United agenda. Big up my guys. That's £15 in a swear jar. 15 quid. What?
That's not that
Can't
bad for
afford
you.
that. Can't afford 15, Nico.
What is it? 25p a swear?
Have I sweared that much?
Oh,
Hey,
are you saying?
No.
What are you saying? Pound? Is it pound to swear?
£5 a swear, isn't it?
Is it? Oh, so you've only sworn 4 times, or nearly.
3 times
Yeah.
I've swore, I think.
He
But that's
swore.
like,
I think he missed one on the show. Actually, I think I don't know whether to tell him that or not, but
yeah,
you
but
might be
the thing
miscounting, Solo.
what I want to know is where is all this money going? Somebody's wallet is getting seriously like inflated, and it ain't mine.
Yeah. Well, Solo, I saw you. I think I saw you wearing a Versace suit earlier. Maybe that's where it's going. Talk.
That's it. That's right. Yeah, and with his fancy Apple watches and all these new phones and all the, you know what I mean? I'm still using a Nokia spoon, mate.
Yeah. He says to you, if you see me out, boy, no autograph.
Yeah, no autographs. Oh, come on, man! I want your autograph. Actually, I want you to sign it right across my chest.
In lipstick.
Yeah. Oh dear.
Anthony
Don't pick up,
Herbert.
Anthony.
Big up, yes, big up, mate. What's he saying? The talk put 2,500 in on Saturday. Watch along.
Oh, do you know what? Did you hear it? Did you hear me? I've not listened to it back yet, but I don't because I went absolutely crazy.
Were you all right at the start? Because obviously we were doing okay. You you were swearing joyfully, and then at the end, between the time of losing the 2 goals, you were very angry.
No, it wasn't the goals because me and Mr. B didn't actually see the goals because our streams went down at the same time. So we didn't see it. Yeah, we missed both of their goals, but it was the Alanga.
You noticed the score though.
Mr. B did. Mr. B noticed it, and I went, "You what? Are you having a laugh?" And then it was the incident with Alanga throwing stuff at him, and he was, and that really riled me big time. So I was like,
"Well, good." Because I want to know what you think of it, mate, because this is the next topic. Brilliant.
Okay.
Well, not brilliant, actually. It was horrible scenes at Leeds. And it's not, I don't think it's the old school dirty Leeds mentality. I think this is just stupid people that are doing it around the country at different grounds. It seems to be growing. I don't know what's happening with society. It seems to throw lighters, coins. I believe a player the other day got hit with a full bottle of Coca-Cola. You know, people just throwing their crap away at people. I mean, what's going on, mate? What can we do? I know we can't search people at the gate for lighters and coins and that. You can't confiscate everything that people have, and obviously they're throwing drinks as well. I do still think like the whole bottle thing, maybe they should just stop doing bottles. If people are going to be idiots, you have it in a bloody cup like everybody else, or one of them plastic pint glasses, and on your way. Do you know what I mean? But sickening to see, mate. I think Alanga held his own very well, mate. He didn't really give it back to him. He went over to his fans. He was celebrating. He did the right thing. And it's unfortunate to see players yet again getting abused. And I think this is the first goal before he got his goal, wasn't it? It was the Fred goal, I believe. What do you make of it, mate?
Look, yeah, like I say, I went absolutely crazy on the watch along. I really lost my temper because, I don't like Leeds for starters. So there's that anyway. Because I know my dad many times, whenever we played Leeds, my dad, he'd always start effing and blinding and start going on one. And when he'd educate me and tell me why, with all the Munich connection and all the arms out there, the ones who started it, putting their arms out and doing the old, you know what I mean? All that bullshit. So, I was already kind of on the edge anyway because it was Leeds. And then, seeing them throwing stuff on it and Alanga, that was it. I just saw red and then boom, I was raging. So for me, I just think, how do they stop this kind of behavior? All right, I know it's going to always be very, very small minority. So what you got to do there then is say, okay, listen, if the small minority ruin it for the larger majority, then the larger majority are not going to be happy about that. So, in other words, make it so that if people do this, that whole section of the stand is asked to leave.
Well, yeah. Talk, I guess. That's the weird thing, isn't it? Isn't that the weird thing that no one felt so, if it's such a small minority of people, why are not people behind them, around them? Are they scared to say something to these people? Are they ultras? Are they well-known people that you just don't talk to in that way? Like, why don't you see people actually trying to stop their own fans from doing this if it is such a small minority? I don't understand why. Like, we all disagree, like we all agree that we don't like to see it, and we all disagree with that behavior. So why don't the fans do more about it? Like you said, why don't they get riled up as
well,
much?
I mean, I would, if I was, if I'm in the stand and I see someone doing that, I'd be like, yeah, I will, I'd be phone out, filming them. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
filming them and then taking it to the, grassing them up. In other words, I just grass them up and go, yeah, look, this guy's throwing stuff. You know what I mean, get him. I don't want to see this guy in the stand next week, or the week after, or the week after that. The football clubs have got to start being more harsh in their punishments. No point in saying you're banned for 2 games, or you're banned for the next home game, but you can go to the away game if you want because they need the support.
Ban for life, then, yeah.
Yeah. Listen, how many times have I said it before about warnings and laws? If you know what the law is and you still choose to do it, there is no excuse for when the punishment comes. You know what I mean? It's as simple as that. Like I say, if I put a warning on my front door, saying, look, if you try and enter my property illegally, I'm gonna do X, Y, and Z. There, you've been warned. But if you still do it, then you got nothing to complain about. If I then, disable you in some kind of way, have you? Because I've warned you. So you have to put change the rules. The clubs need to change the rule along with the FA. The FA needs to be harsher on clubs as well. Say to clubs, no, listen, you've got to start being harsher on your fans who do this kind of thing, because again, all this kind of stuff is weakening our attempts to bring a major tournament to England, i.e. the World Cup. Which we won't get now because of the Euros. We won't get the World Cup for another 50 years.
It's crap, mate. I haven't even seen one. I don't think I probably won't see one in my lifetime. And it hurts me because, people have thrown that away. We had this summer was a fairly decent tournament up until the final. The way we were at that game was disgraceful. And it has, like you say, it's ruined it. But it was the minority, and it was again people outside the stadium, and I do worry that it's going to increase, mate. This abuse that players are getting. What's going on in France, mate? Why is there such a resurgence of this thing? It's not just in our country anymore, is it?
Well, what's going on in France? I'm not too aware of that, bro.
Well, we've done a show about this before. Payet got hit at a game, and it happened again. They've had to abandon games. You can see it on YouTube? I'm pretty sure. It was Marseille versus. Oh dear Lord! Someone remind me in the comments. Marseille were playing a game basically, and the players, fans got onto the field. They were trying to beat players up and stuff. Yeah, it was quite riled up. But it's been happening quite a lot in France, and they've actually had to ban fans from going to some games in certain stadiums. And it's nothing to do with COVID. It's to do with just literally doing that, abusing players with throwing things. And
I think a lot of the time it's younger people, and it's the younger generation. I think, to be fair, that would be more inclined to do something like that, just out of pure immaturity and inexperience of what life's about and how you're supposed to conduct yourself. Listen, players getting abuse from the stands is part of the game. Obviously, it has to be related to only, the playing. Because you're always going to get that, aren't you?
Well, you're always going to get people shouting hypocritical. Yes, of course, you're always going to get that. That's just criticism, mad criticism. Where if you're just literally abusing someone because of, say, their country, their skin color, their sexual preference, or the fact that they're just from another country, xenophobic behavior, it is not acceptable, is it? But
no, without a doubt, you can't. No, that's what I'm saying. I mean, you go to a football match, opposition players right there, booing and saying, you're shit, your club's shit, you're getting relegated or blah, blah, whatever. That's just That's like what fans do, isn't it? You shout out nonsense, but then you just get the people who then, like you said, go down the totally unacceptable route, which is going for the more, like damaging sort of remarks, which are obviously, like we already said, is you just can't have that. You just can't have it. And I think for me, like I said, the clubs need to be harsher in their punishments of people, who do this kind of thing, and they should be banned for life. Man, banned for life.
Yeah, because if it's the minority, mate, surely they can pick them out with the amount of cameras and witnesses and people around. Surely they can spot these very few people. If it was a large majority of people, then obviously it'd be hard to pick out one by one, wouldn't it? But it's not, is it?
No, and that's the thing. It's not. It's always like one or two in it. In trying to hide amongst a larger crowd. You're always going to get those one or two.
Mate, I heard a report. It was on Talksport, and he was saying like he went around with the police. I think it was a Nottingham game. It might have been Nottingham versus Derby actually recently. So there were kids up to 12 years old with these hooligans that were like 40, 50, and they were the ones, honestly. And he's like, they nabbed this kid. He was about 12 years old, and he was the one holding the drugs for him. Because I guess that's another, honestly, that this is what they do, because they won't know that the kids won't get searched up for it. So kids are getting involved in it so much, and it's crazy, mate, because they feel like these 40, 50-year-olds are to be looked at because they're the people that are doing this in the stands, trying to look like, look at me, like Billy Big Bollocks, like look at me, like, and it's just stupid, mate. I don't get it. Where are the parents as well stopping these kids from going with these people? They're not even related to half of these people. Do you know what I mean?
No, it's crazy, isn't it? I mean, like I say, these. I know. You just. Yeah, I don't know. Some fan bases are kind of in the lower leagues. There's not as much security and everything else going on. So yeah, it'd be easier for them to do what they do. But
do you think it's more of a drug abuse or alcohol? Do you think there's a lot more to do with like maybe cocaine abuse in stadiums these days? So maybe. What they say that they find quite a lot of it is to do with more.
Well, yeah, I mean, if people want to sort of heighten their experience, they'll turn to substances. But I mean, I don't know. It's a difficult one because, like we say, you without like you say, the more I just think to put a point on it, I think it's more about the punishment, because obviously, prevention is better than a cure. You know what I mean? So I think if there is a really severe punishment, then for me, I think that actually might make people think twice. They might just think, wait a minute, do I really want to firstly get heavily fined, massively fined, which is going to really, really hurt you? I'm talking like a really serious fine here, into the thousands, right? That's going to hurt, really, really hurt. And secondly, you're not going to be allowed anywhere near the club again. That's the kind of stuff that's going to make people think twice, in my opinion. Yeah. And until they do that, then, I think
it's going to rise. Well, it's a simple thing, like you're saying. It's so simple. It's logically correct. Why can't they get it right? Are they afraid to stop people from coming just because of money over the fact?
Because this is what I was saying before about the majority and the minority. The majority of football fans who go to the game, right, if asked the question, this guy here, he's thrown, like the Leeds fans. If you get all the Leeds fans, who were at that game, and you could do a survey and say, right, look, this guy here, he's the one who threw the coin at Anthony Elanga. Sit him on the head. He could have hit him in the eye and blinded him. Could have ruined his career, right? So, do you think, are you going to be mad at us as a club if we say this person is no longer allowed at any of our games, right? Because you guarantee that 99.9% of the fans are going to say, no, we agree. He shouldn't be allowed to go anywhere near the games because he's ruining it for us. We're there to go and enjoy the game and give our V signs and our, the which other sign, and up and down, right, to the opposition, and boo and all that nonsense. That's, like I said before, that's part of the game. The kind of what you would say would be normal banter between fans.
Was the Chris Wood meowing to Kurt Zuma right banter?
Who did that? Sorry,
did you hear that? The Newcastle striker he kept meowing around Zuma, didn't he? While they were playing.
Look, listen. It's when you're playing football. There, if you think, there's some way of getting somebody riled up, you're gonna, you'll use it. In that regard, from Chris Wood doing that, do I think that's right? No, definitely not. Should he be doing it? No.
Very cheeky.
It's kind of very unprofessional. If he's going to sit there at home with his missus, showing that clip, saying, "Oh, this is disgusting. Look what he's done to that cat. He's out of order. He should be this and he should be that," and blah blah blah. But then go onto the football pitch and then start meowing at him to try and get a reaction. You know better, mate. You know better. You know what I mean? So from my point of view, you shouldn't be doing that. Listen, you put yourself into that kind of position, you're earning exceptional amounts of money. You're in the limelight. You're a big famous person. You're a star. You're setting an example to the youngsters who want to go and follow in your footsteps. You can't be doing that shit. And if I was the manager and I'd be hearing about that, man, he'd have been off. I'd have been in his ear hole. You're off and you're fined. Get out. You can't be doing that. It's ridiculous.
No, I completely agree, mate. And I hope that they do. Sorry, I hope that they do sort this out, mate, because it does seem to be rising, doesn't it? This problem, and I think everything you said was on point and proper. They should call these people out, give them lifetime bans, and people that are in the stands as well should stand up and say something to these people. Surely, you hear that whole thing, like there's more of you good fans than there are bad fans. So if you all stand up to the bad fans, they'll back down.
Yeah. Well, I remember I was talking about with all the abuse and that what was happening, which is still happening, especially the racism and the sexism and homophobic abuse. And I remember saying, look, why don't the clubs make use of the these free social media apps that we all love using, and create some kind of like a group or like a page, a channel, or whatever it is that people can go on to and join. And then if you become part of it, sections of the crowd, you're in like sections and groups, and there's like an armband that you can put on your arm, which specifically says in a roundabout way, if we're not down with any bullshit, you know what I mean? We don't want no bullshit. That's what this symbol on my arm says. Yeah, we don't want no bullshit. So if anybody who's in this crowd, this section with us, and you haven't got one of these on, in other words, we keep an eye on you, and we're going to see, and we will call it out. We will stand up together against you and say, hey, whoa, you're out of order, and we will drag you, if we have to the stewards and say, this guy is shouting racist, homophobic, or sexist abuse, and we ain't having it. Get him out. We don't want that in our section. So do one. Would you let somebody, come into your garden if you're having a garden party and then start blarting off about, being sexist? No, you wouldn't. You're not just going to go, I'm not going to say he's, and just try and ignore it. No, you're not. You're going to go, yeah, pal, whoa, not in my garden, mate. Get out. That's exactly what you're going to do. You're going to say, get out of my garden. Don't want you here. So why can't the same be said for inside a football stadium? Take ownership of what it is we are, which is fans of the game. We're there to support our team, right? So therefore, that should extend to looking out for our team in that sense, when we know that these kind of actions are prevalent in our stadiums, in our stands. People giving a racist, sexist, homophobic and xenophobic abuse. You know, you can't. If you're there in a crowd and you hear somebody, you know, they start blatting the shit off, and then nobody's really saying anything, you know, what then? What sort of message does that send to the person who's doing it? They think, oh, I'm all right here. I can, you know, I'll just pipe up and go, blah, 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 and then just, you know, hide back down again behind Big John, who's in front of me. And then next time, at the next game, what is there to stop him doing it again? Nothing. So for me, this is where the clubs are missing out. They've got to get rid of times it and use these tools that are there. Because I'll tell you something now. If I went to Old Trafford and they said to me, or they sent me an email saying, look, do you want to be part of this group in, you know, whatever section of the stand, you know, whether it be the Sir Alex Ferguson stand or whatever, right? And, you know, do you want to be part of this group? And you can take one of these symbols and wear it on match day. I'd be like, you damn right I'll do. You damn right. And I make sure everybody could see it. Make sure, because then, you know, if you've got the numbers on those people who are not wearing it, you know, you've got backup, because you know that everybody else who's got one on is going to back you up. So when you then say something to somebody, if you're scared that they might get all arsey on you, if there's 2 or 3 of them, right? You know, wait a minute. You look around, you go, wait a minute, I've got one on. He's got one, she's got one, he's got one, she's got one. There's one there. Right, fuck that. Right, no. Hey, pal, listen, shut your mouth. You're out of order. Steward, get this clown out of here.
Yeah.
Get him out. Right? What are they going to do? Are they going to stand up to another like 30, 40, 50, 60 or whatever people if there's only 2 or 3 of them? No, they ain't. They're going to shit themselves and go, oh, shit. Therefore, once that happens, only needs to happen once, the message is sent. It ain't going to be stood for, and you are not going to get away with it. So there would be a huge reduction in that kind of behaviour, in my opinion, which is exactly what we all want. So why is it such a big deal and such a hard thing to achieve for our football clubs? Take ownership of what it is you're doing. Don't just, it's not a free, open, like public space that you've got no control of. It's your property that you have asked us to pay you money for to come in. So if I'm paying you money to come into your fucking garden party and I hear then somebody being racist, sexist, homophobic, whatever, I then going to say to you, yeah, well, wait a minute, nah, I ain't staying here if you don't get that clown out of here, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Simple as that.
No, well said, bro. Well said. I'm going to put this up, mate. Apparently, Annie says 11 likes, 23 dislikes. I can't see dislikes. So
Anthony, man, he's on the wind up. No, he's on the wind up.
It's like, Dad, how do you see dislikes? I can't see them anymore. But that's great if I have, because that means people are interacting.
Yeah, but I mean, what do you agree then with what I said there?
Absolutely. Why wouldn't I? I mean, why shouldn't anybody? But I think that's the problem, isn't it? Talk. Why, if we know what to do, why don't they?
Well, this is the thing. Is some, you know, clubs sometimes they just don't know what to do. It's been quite clear, not just in terms of football, as we know from our club. We've been all at sea for a good few years where we've not known what to do, you know, and you know, especially in the decision making in terms of player signings and things like that. Yeah. So it's quite clear that sometimes, you know, they kind of go along and ride the what's the word? You know, they just sort of float downstream, so to speak. You know what I mean? You float along downstream. It looks like, you know what you're doing in a canoe floating down a stream. But then as soon as you get to some really, you know, tricky rapids and white water, then you've got to then start using your skills. And if you haven't got them, you're in trouble. So the same applies, doesn't it? Really, you know. I know it's a bit of a thingy analogy, but it's the same sort of thing. You know, you've got to be prepared and foresee and put in place, you know, reactions for actions. So you have to anticipate this, you know, but they're just not.
We've got to hope they do it, though, haven't we?
Well, yeah, this is the thing, you know, maybe I'll get in touch.
Send them this video. Yeah, get in touch or send them this video, push it over there. And they go, that Talk MU, he needs to be on the board, like, to help us. Because if they can't, they need you and they need us.
Well, this is the thing, and you know, as a fan, from my point of view, I would be thinking, you know what, actually, I kind of like the idea. That's why. What do you think if you was out? All right, I'll put it this way to you. I'll simplify it for everybody. Next time you went to the game, right? You got into your stand, and then you looked and you're like, there was a copper there, and then you looked, oh, there was a copper there. Wait a minute, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 10, 12, 15. Bloody hell. It's like 20 odd coppers here. Is anybody who's in that area of the stand within earshot of those coppers going to say anything that's going to get them in trouble? No, they ain't. Would you? Because you won't do that. You wouldn't do that. All right. There may be a what you call it? The odd one who's had too much to drink, and then he can't handle his booze, like you do. Friday nights, that's what we know about Friday nights in city centres. You see it all the time. No, what's that program called on the telly? Where you see the coppers out at night time patrolling the city centres, and there's some idiot.
Crime Watch, but it ain't.
No, it's not Crime Watch. It's something else. And I always used to like watching it because
Pub Watch.
I don't know, but yeah. Oh, well, there you go then. Pub Watch. You remember they brought that in, didn't they? Pubs, pubs, whatever that is. Because I don't, like I say, I don't drink, so I don't go out and drink or anything like that because I don't drink alcohol. But I know what it is. I know what Pub Watch is, obviously. And again, that's the similar kind of thing here. Is at the game. It's a similar kind of game. It's like match watching. It's like fan watch. You know what I mean? We as fans have to start taking responsibility for the actions of not just ourselves, but unfortunately the actions of others. Because if we just let it go by the wayside, and people will get away with it. And if people get away with things, they are more, inclined to do it again.
Yeah. Well said, mate. Well said to finish it off. He says it's Booze Britain, Mr. Silver Fox. Big up to you.
Yo, big up, Tony. Booze Britain. I think that might be the one. Yeah, Booze Britain, man. It's so funny though that when you watch it, like what? Someone who's just had far too much to drink. You know what I mean?
Here we see Darren is not made it home on a late night. He's stuck in a bin upside down. Like
yeah. Oh,
weird crap.
Look, these two chaps at the local kebab shop has ended up in a fight because one of them just couldn't stand up straight and he kept bumping into the other one. The other one had not quite as much to drink as the other one. So he thought he was trying to start a fight. He started to then, slanging match in the kebab shop, and then it turns into a fight. You know what I mean? It's stuff's flying everywhere. You know what I mean? It's like, oh god.
Then they're all going home with kebab sauce all down their shirt.
Well, actually, I mean, I don't mind a bit of kebab sauce if I'm honest, mate. I'm actually quite fond of a kebab.
Just not down my shirt.
No, not down on your shirt. Definitely not.
Don't wear a white shirt when you enter a kebab house. That's a bad duo. Mr. Silver Fox says, the handsome duo. Good evening, my friends.
Hey, nice one, Mr. Silver Fox.
There's been
somebody must have told him that I'm the what's his name? Standing, Leonardo DiCaprio standing. Yeah. But don't go telling everyone, will you? I don't want, you know what I mean? Can't be doing with them either, mate.
There's a few of you in here right now. Smash a like, share, subscribe if you can. I'm glad Alanga got the one up on them Leeds fans. We both agree with that, didn't we, Talk?
Yeah. It was great to see him. Yeah, score that goal and then just put his fingers up like shh. You know what I mean?
Get Talk a seat for FA Premier League. Are you watching?
Yeah.
There you go. He agrees. He thinks you should be on there. Talk. We're going to finish it off there. We're nearly at the hour mark.
Excellent.
Thank you, everybody. And Anthony, I was told Talk looks like Mr. Muscle.
Oh my days, Mr. Muscle. Who's Mr. Muscle?
You know the guy that spray.
Oh yeah, man. Nah, man. Nah, skinny and small. Nah, man. I'm 6'4". My biceps are probably bigger than your legs. So, you know what I'm saying?
Take that back.
Take that back and get in your tractor and drive on, son. Get in that tractor.
Get in that tractor. Right, we'll finish it off there at the hour mark. Thank you, everybody, for watching today. Oh, bloody hell. Here we go. Another comment from Mr. Silver Fox. Talk as a handsome soul, Mr. Muscle or not. Oh, that's nice.
Oh, nice one, Mr. Silver Fox. Big up, bro. Appreciate it. Anthony. I'm off tractoring.
He's off on his tractor. And so are we, because it's bath time for me. And Talk, thank you so much for joining us again today. Very interesting. Actually, before we go, I want to shout this out now because I think we should do it. We're going to talk about whether the Champions League should be held in St. Petersburg in Russia. obviously what's going on at the moment between Russia and Ukraine. We're going to delve into that and the Shakhtar Donetsk situation as they fled a fair few years ago from Donetsk to Kiev because they can't play their games there anymore. So we will talk about that a little bit. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in once again. Talk, where can we find Yao? Where can we find Yao?
Usual place, mate, on Twitter, I talk MU, on the Man United agenda, and obviously on this superb platform. I love coming onto the channel, mate. It's always a joy chatting with you because you throw up some interesting questions, and a lot of the time, it's kind of don't even know what is going to be discussed until they actually get on the show, which I like it that way because, if you overthink things, you can, you can get it wrong. So
absolutely, mate. I'm just better at freestyling. Like if you're asking someone in a pub, what did you make of the game? What did you think of that? Just all I want to be. I don't want to be like, oh, actually, well, I wrote this down 2 days ago.
No.
I got that bit wrong though, so hang on, scrub that bit out. What I mean is, hang on, that was yesterday. What I mean, I don't want.
No.
What do I
don't wait for me.
How do I feel now? It might change in a few days. Every day changes. Every day is a new one. You can get things wrong. You can change your mind on things as well. So I want you to take me and you as well. Certainly, I'm pretty sure you're the same. Take me as I am right now at this very moment. So don't like to rehearse.
Yeah, and also, Anthony's right. You definitely find me in my fridge. I think that's probably the one place that I visit most often. Without a doubt, I'm always near the fridge.
Thank God for the fridge light, right?
Well, actually, the fridge light doesn't work. My missus took the bulb out, so I make it harder for me to just grab stuff. Lucky dip. Lucky dip, mate. It's a lucky dip. You open the door and go, hey, put your hand in, and then go, what's that? And
you end up getting an egg.
Camembert cheese. You're like, nah, go on that. Have another go. You know what I mean? Raw chicken leg. Yeah, I'll have some of that. Why not?
You can find Talk MU everywhere, even.
That's reference to what we were saying about your garden party. Oh, actually, when is your garden party, Matt? Can you let everybody know?
Once I get the old, what do you call it? The Manscaped, then you can all come to my garden party because there won't be a garden. It'll be shaved. Is that what you mean? You want to come to my garden party? Is that what you mean? I'm joking.
Oh, man.
There. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Smash, share, subscribe, like, and we will see you tomorrow for the League. There's Champions, 10 o'clock p.m. See you then. Bye-bye.
Ciao.